Scott-Heron released his album I'm New Here on independent label XL Recordings on February 9, 2010. Produced by XL label owner Richard Russell, I'm New Here was Scott-Heron's first studio album in 16 years. The pair started recording the album in 2007, with the majority of the record being recorded over the 12 months leading up to the release date with engineer Lawson White at Clinton Studios in New York. I'm New Here is 28 minutes long with 15 tracks. However, casual asides and observations collected during recording sessions are included as interludes. The album attracted critical acclaim, with The Guardian's Jude Rogers declaring it one of the best of the next decade, while some have called the record reverent and intimate due to Scott-Heron's half-sung, half-spoken delivery of his poetry. In a music review for public radio network NPR, Will Hermes stated, "Comeback records always worry me, especially when they're made by one of my heroes. But I was haunted by this record. He's made a record not without hope but which doesn't come with any easy or comforting answers. In that way, the man is clearly still committed to speaking the truth." Writing for music website Music OMH, Darren Lee provided a more mixed assessment of the album, describing it as rewarding and stunning, but he also states that the album's brevity prevents it from being an unassailable masterpiece. Scott-Heron described himself as a mere participant. In a 2010 interview with The New Yorker, "This is Richard's CD. My only knowledge when I got to the studio was how he seemed to have wanted this for a long time. You're in a position to have somebody do something that they really want to do, and it was not something that would hurt me or damage me. Why not? All the dreams you show up in are not your own." The remix version of the album, We're New Here, was released in 2011, featuring production by English musician Jamie XX, who reworked material from the original album. Like the original album, We're New Here received critical acclaim. In April 2014, XL Recordings announced a third album from the I'm New Here sessions, titled Nothing New. The album consists of stripped-down piano and vocal recordings and was released in conjunction with Record Store Day on April 19, 2014. Scott-Heron died on May 27, 2011 in New York City following a trip to Europe. Scott-Heron had confirmed previous press speculation about his health, when he disclosed in a 2008 New York Magazine interview that he had been HIV positive for several years, and that he had been previously hospitalized for pneumonia. He was survived by his firstborn daughter, Raquia Nia Kelly Heron, from his relationship with Pat Kelly, his son Rumal Rackley, from his relationship with Lerma Rackley, daughter Gil Scott-Heron, from his marriage to Brenda Sykes, and daughter Chegiana Newton, who was 13 years old at the time of her father's death. He is also survived by his sister Gail, brother Dennis Heron, who once managed Scott-Heron, his uncle, Roy Heron, and nephew Terrence Kelly, an actor and rapper who performs as Mr. Cheeks, and is a member of Lost Boys. Before his death, Scott-Heron had been in talks with Portuguese director Pedro Costa to participate in his film Horse Money as a screenwriter, composer and actor. In response to Scott-Heron's death, Public Enemy's Chuck D stated, "Rip GSH. And we do what we do and how we do because of you," on his Twitter account. His UK publisher, Jamie Bing, called him one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. On hearing of the death, R&B singer Usher stated, "I just learned of the loss of a very important poet. R.I.P. Gil Scott-Heron. The revolution will be live." Richard Russell, who produced Scott-Heron's final studio album, called him a father figure of sorts to me, while Eminem stated, "He influenced all of hip-hop." Lupe Fiasco wrote a poem about Scott-Heron that was published on his website. Scott-Heron's memorial service was held at Riverside Church in New York City on June 2, 2011, where Kanye West performed "Lost in the World" and "Who Will Survive in America," two songs from West's album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. The studio album version of West's Who Will Survive in America features a spoken word excerpt by Scott-Heron. Scott-Heron is buried at Kensico Cemetery in Westchester County in New York.